All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to True Crime Loser. I hope you're doing well. So, folks, today we're going to talk about Will Smith's little meltdown from the other night. It's not every night you see a man laugh, cry, be brooding, be violent, cry again, laugh again, win an award, dance, all in one night. Like a lot of you, I love the movies. I get excited about the movies, but I could not care less about who wins the little award at the end of the year. I think there's a small percentage of people still really into the Oscars. They have a party, they watch the whole thing. But for the most part, people don't care, and the ratings have shown that as it slowly and surely tanks pretty bad over the years. And I would guess a big part of that is movie stars currently have never been less cool than they are right now. Social media gave us access to them in a way there's never been. It used to be you'd see your favorite movie star up on the big screen. Oh my gosh, look how cool they are. They're reciting award-winning lines, dressed by a professional costume designer. The whole thing's edited perfectly. Then you might see them on a Tonight Show type interview. Again, stylists dressed them. The stories are pre-picked. The host is setting them up perfectly to make them look as good as possible. And then all of a sudden we hit the social media era and they go live on TikTok or Facebook and everyone goes, wait, that's your personality? What? The best example of the way that social media is not good for these people just shows how out of touch they are, how they take themselves too seriously, how kind of smug they are, how they have no insight on contemporary politics or contemporary anything. And it was a little bit mind-blowing, I think. And now Hollywood, it's like, yeah, we love your movies, we love your work, but the mystique is gone. And I think the best example of this is when the pandemic really started cranking. The actress that starred in Wonder Woman, which that movie got great reviews, her performance got great reviews. Listen to this thought process. She heard a John Lennon Imagine. John Lennon is a mind-blowingly talented musician that spent his whole life perfecting writing and recording a song so it would make people feel things and the whole thing. She heard that, it made her feel something, just like everybody else that listens to Imagine, once in a while, and thought to herself, instead of sharing the track that made me feel something, which also would have come off as tone deaf and out of touch, just, hey, everybody, listen to Imagine. It's like, yeah, we know about Imagine. We're all aware of Imagine. She thought, though, instead of sharing the guy that spent his whole life perfecting, writing, and recording a song, I'm going to sing it with my Hollywood friends in my gated back garden, a cappella. Imagine there's no heaven. I hope Sarah Silverman can be a part of it. I'm sure publicists were on the phone talking to their clients going, what are you doing singing a John Lennon song into your stupid iPhone and then posting it for everybody? You need to put your phone away. This isn't helping your career. Go to Hawaii, go to Mexico. I don't care what you do. I don't want to see you again or hear your voice unless you're on the big screen reciting award-winning lines, okay? Your personality is terrible. Sit there and shut up in your mansion and don't screw this up so I can get you more roles as things move on, okay? You don't do commentary. You don't go live on Instagram or TikTok. It doesn't help you. And I think a lot of the Hollywood celebrities were a little bit surprised. Like, man, my performances on screen are really celebrated, but then I go live on TikTok and it's a little bit lackluster. That's kind of strange. Okay, so that's where Hollywood is at the moment. The big draw for these award shows are the movie stars, the leading men and leading women. I think it's cool that sound designer gets recognized and best this and best little that, but let's be honest, the real draw that make the ratings for the Oscars, which make them be able to sell advertisements, are the movie stars. So they set them up front. Well, hour-long award show where these people that are out of touch, take themselves too seriously, are a little bit smug, don't really have great personalities, isn't that fun to watch? It's a little bit boring, but they want people to watch. So an age-old trick is to hire a comedian to host, to roast everybody a little bit, to break that smug vibe in the air that everybody just takes themselves too seriously. It breaks that tension. It makes it watchable for the common person at home that's trying to get into it. So they've done it year after year after year, and a few comedians are picked every time. It seems like it's like Chris Rock does an unimaginable amount of these award shows. Ricky Gervais does a bunch of them, and one of them actually articulated one time about how the Oscars is just a lose-lose gig, because you're in the room with these people that take themselves really seriously, and this is their big night, which fair play to them. If you want to get together with your industry and recognize people and really get into it and really take yourself seriously, that's fine. But if you're trying to make the thing fun to watch for the general public, I think you got to turn down. It's like, all right, I understand that they're going to bring a comedian in. He's going to roast everybody a little bit. Like I said, since I was a kid, Chris Rock has been hired by award shows to do this exact role. I remember him, one of the MTV award shows, when like in 2006 or 5 maybe, going like In Sync, or as I like to call them, the Spice Boys, and everybody's going nuts. He's wearing a brown leather suit. Like he couldn't have looked cooler that night. Well, think about how many he's done since then. It's ridiculous. And he's brought in time after time. Like, Chris, all of these people are paid millions of dollars to act like someone else. That's, comedians are paid millions of dollars to act like themselves. So please go out there and try to make this fun and interesting, because without the comedians and the bits that they cram into the show, it's really just not. Who cares about a lot of that stuff? All right, so let's get there that night. So Chris is brought on, just like he's been brought on a million times, to break the tension, do a little roasty, and then keep the whole thing moving, right? That's the toughest part of these award shows, is just keeping the whole thing moving. It's hours and hours of the same thing. And so let's analyze as Chris is up there. I think probably, right, he's up there to give the best documentary. And so it seems like he roasted the 3 leading men and their wives just a little bit, or I guess that was the plan, and then do the documentary. So he does Denzel first, and then that second guy and his wife that were both nominated, so he was able to do a joke about how, either both got to win or one. That'll be awkward if only one wins, so that one kind of writes itself. And then you get to Will and Jada. So if you're a comedian, say you get that job, all right, you're going to deliver the best documentary, but do a little of your roast, do a little of your funny thing first, because the people, it's going to get boring if just the out-of-touch, stuck-up people are the main show. So we brought you in, Chris, just like we always do a little ribbing, and then deliver the documentary. So Chris, I'm sure, planned at least some of the jokes, maybe the Denzel one. To be honest, that one didn't really work that great. I think the middle one about how they both should win was maybe the best of the 3, and then you get to Jada and Will. Well, as a comedian, if you're thinking before you go out on stage, the night before, you're getting your little jokes ready, it would be hard not to joke a little bit. It would be hard not to joke about how recently, just like within the past couple years, Jada met a 28-year-old, extremely mediocre R&B singer named August at her son's concert. August, the mediocre R&B singer, was talking to Jada and said something like, "Man, I just need help with life," because he was addicted to painkillers at the time. And so Jada and August start a relationship. She's 48, he's 28. He's an R&B singer that's in the same circles as her son. They're all in show business together. For a while, Jada was calling it's not a relationship, it's an entanglement. It's like, shut up, Jada. Imagine being with someone that said that. They're all of a sudden dating some young, crappy R&B singer that's all tired from Percocet. And it's not a relationship, it's an entanglement. Oh, really? Well, I'm leaving. So Jada does that very recently. And it's one thing, they came out as saying we got an open marriage. It's one thing to say, all right, when you're off traveling the world, doing a movie, you enjoy yourself. I'm going to enjoy myself. But it's another thing. Jada got in this entanglement with someone in their industry, felt like went out of her way to take pictures with him, went on red carpets with him where she's hugging him. He's got his hand around, her waist. That's got to do disastrous things to Will Smith's mojo, right? I mean, everybody that's really done commentary on this whole situation, you gotta bring that up. And so I would guess that that's a very insecure spot for Will Smith, right? All of a sudden your wife goes, yeah, I'm dating August, the guy that's named after a month, and he's a little bit high on Percocet. Sorry. I'm sure Will, again, I was looking at pictures of him during that period. He's got the wince smile where it's okay. No, I'm happy with it. It's an open marriage. It's great. I love it. And so I would guess that, like I said, Will is very insecure about that. Who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't have a hit to the mojo when that happens? And so as these nights where, I guess now they're back together, so I think as these nights where they know that a big part of making an award show bearable for normal people is that you bring in these comedians and they lightly roast you to keep the whole thing fun, break that everybody's taking themselves too seriously vibe, and keep the thing going. Well, I would guess Will all day, or maybe even leading up to the Oscars, had anxiety, like, are they going to joke about how Jada left me for August, the perked out R&B singer? He probably had anxiety about it. And then all of a sudden, here we are, the big night, and I can't confirm it, but I've heard a couple other people talk about how a woman made a joke about how Jada did cheat on him earlier, before Chris Rock. So maybe his worst fears did come true, and he's already sitting there and he's going, I just have to sit here and take this. I'm Will Smith, why do I have to sit here and take when these comedians are ribbing on me? And then we get to the Chris Rock part, right? And it gets to the Jada joke where he says, Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it, right? That's not a great joke. And then I can tell by his body language that even Chris didn't love that joke that much. And he said, hey, that was a nice one. And he kind of jumped in, and it makes me think, this is just obviously speculation, it makes me think that was maybe not the joke he had at the beginning. Maybe at first his instinct was to rip on their open relationship. It was an entanglement. That is hard to bypass that topic as a comedian, right? There's a lot of comedy in that. You don't want to go to bed that night as a comedian and be like, man, I left that out on the table. But I feel like Chris went to his B squad joke. Maybe the lady had already joked about that, or maybe he didn't want to joke about that. So he goes, all right, instead of that, again, I'm just guessing, maybe I'll do just the bald joke, the G.I. Jane joke, which again is not that great of a joke. But he's brought there to just try, right? He's trying to make these smug, out-of-touch people, the whole thing entertaining. So he's hired in to try to just break the smugness a little bit. So even though it's not a funny joke, I don't hold it against Chris Rock at all. It's not a tough gig. You're on live TV, so a lot of the way you may word a joke in a comedy club when you can say anything, you can't word it like that. It's a tough gig for a comedian to go up there, be funny really quick, give everyone a light roasting, and then deliver the award all seamlessly. It's not easy. And so maybe Chris, that joke wasn't that great. Just G.I. Jane, all right, she's bald and G.I. Jane. I would have tried, hindsight's 20/20, but I think it would have been funnier to do a joke where almost it looks like you're going to make fun of her bald head, because, and she's probably was nervous about it, a little bit self-conscious about it, make it look like that, and then go another way. It would have been funny if he said, Jada, don't worry, I'm not going to make fun of the way you look. I wouldn't feel right joking about your looks when your personality's way worse. Like something like that. Or, hey, look, a Men in Black theme. Will Smith's got the suit on. Jada looks like an alien. I mean, he could have done something a lot meaner, but I feel like he goes, you know what? I'm just going to do the G.I. Jane joke. And what I've also learned, there's been times where I've done that, where I have the joke that I want to do, and I'm like, nah, and I kind of wuss out, or for whatever reason, I end up doing like the B joke, the one that I don't think is good. And a lot of times that one, for whatever reason, is more offensive. Maybe it was in the moment, and he just goes, oh, shoot, her head's buzzed. I better do something, just a little something to, call attention to it in a nice way. And then I don't know if he knows that she has alopecia. Either way, again, I always think if you are roasting, going with looks is is tough. It's like isn't always funny. Going on something else, the personality, I think can come off as better. But anyway, like I said, it's a tough job for a comedian. You're just up there trying to make the thing work. And so he does the joke. Will Smith laughs, looks at Jada. She's not loving it. Walks Chris Rock, gets up, walks Chris Rock down. Will Smith probably outweighs Chris Rock by almost 100 pounds, right? Walks him down. Chris, I think, probably doesn't think in a million years that he's going to get his head slapped off, right? I think he thinks at most Will Smith's going to shake his finger in his face. Maybe they're going to, hey, and then hug. So he just holds his ground and keeps his hands behind his back, which I don't know. When someone's walking you down like that with that type of brooding, in a way, Chris served his face up on a platter, right? I was like an old boxing coach when I saw it happen. I was like, get your hands up, Chris. If Chris would have just smiled and put his hands up like this and then took a couple steps back and then also kind of leaned back, that would have given Will a chance to think about it. Like, am I really this brooding, out of control? It would have, if Will did want to go for the slap, it would have taken him kind of out of range, so Will would have had to really reach for it. The slap probably would have just kind of dinged off the arms. Chris Rock could have kept it light, like, whoa, 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 ding the slap off the arms. And then at that point, if Will wants to attack him, he's got to turn it up a gear, and he would really look like a maniac and either like tackle him or keep swinging. So I think just something that we've learned is don't assume the person that's angrily walking towards you is just going to give you a little hug. Don't get your hands up, protect yourself, because if the slap would have dinged off his arm, if he would have blocked it, then Will Smith would have still looked just like someone having a meltdown, and Chris would have felt way less violated because his head wouldn't have been whipped around. But, how do you know that? I don't think Chris in a million years thought that he was just going to get his head slapped off. So Chris has his hands behind his back, holding his ground, like, come on. So the big slap, and then Will turns around, turns his back to him. How professional is Chris Rock? The last word that anyone would be using if I had been slapped was professional. I think I would have probably ran down, chased after him, and jumped on his back like a crazy monkey, and then woken up in the back, and I would have said, what happened? And they would have said, Will Smith slapped you, and then you attacked him like a crazy monkey, and then he easily just shook you off and immediately knocked you out. And I would have said, good. I would have not tried to keep the show going and announce the documentary. He even announced the documentary after getting his head slapped around. They would have had to pull me off, or I would have woken up in the back. The whole feed of the show would have gone down like zoom, and to that music, ba-da-ba-dum-ba-ba-ba-ba. Like, one moment, the feed will come back, ba-da-ba-dum-ba-ba-ba-ba. But Chris really is a professional. He was even funny after it happened. Will Smith is going, keep my wife's name out your mouth. And Chris just goes, I'm going to. Whoa, Something about that was funny. So let's really get to Will Smith's reaction. If there is anybody that should be able to sit back and have a chuckle on a light roast joke, it should be the Smiths. They're all beautiful, right? They were all gifted with they hit the looks lottery. Their whole family's beautiful. They've been beautiful their whole lives. They've reaped the benefits of that, which fair play to them. Will has been in like a big budget movie every year for the past 30 years. It's sustained. His roles have gotten better and more artistic. Like, not too many people can say that, can sustain a movie career for that long. His kids, I think, all landed on their feet. What are you so mad about? It's got to be that she dated the perked out R&B singer, right? I think that, but again, what are you so mad about? All right, so your wife is bald. Get over it, okay? You guys have been beautiful your whole life. Jada with a buzzed head is better looking than a large percentage of the human population will ever be. Okay, so you got alopecia and you got to buzz your head. Have a sense of humor about it. Is that really just the topic that all of a sudden it's like, no, no way, that is the line? It's like, come on. My mom has an autoimmune disease and she's had from it a colonoscopy bag where all types of horrible stuff, and she's got a sense of humor. I mean, it's not just... And so it really comes back to, man, if there was ever a family that could sit back and say, man, we really lived a nice life. Everything we've done is successful. Even Will Smith's new project, he produces that show Cobra Kai. That's been huge. Even his new projects are wildly successful. So it's like, Will, Jada, calm down, stop smelling your own farts, take a joke. All right, it wasn't a funny joke. So what? All Chris was doing is trying to make your stupid award show fun to watch for other people so other people can watch you win your award. Okay, so he failed at doing it. The joke wasn't that great. It's the attempt that he wanted to make the whole thing more fun. All right, he didn't. He got slapped around. I'm very happy that Chris Rock's stock went up. His tour that he's on right now sold out. People are just saying, man, what a professional, this and that. And I hope Will finds peace, right? It's not really a gangster move to go up and slap a comedian that's way smaller than you, and then to sit there with your lip quivering and crying the whole time. So that just shows you, with the life that Will has lived, all of the movies. He's been an action hero for 30 years. What Jada did to him with the guy that's named after a month, I think it really just... I mean, you could see it. He is dealing with some issues deep in his soul. So I hope he finds peace too. I really do. Glad Chris isn't hurt, other than just, it's a humiliating thing to go through. But anyway, pretty wild, everybody. Gonna cut it off there. Love you all. We are not here for any reason. Shamedi.